Good afternoon and welcome to City Line. I'm Karen Holmes Ward. Today we're going to hear from parents who are memorializing the legacy of their son to help protect other student athletes. But first we're going to share the story of a survivor of a congenital heart condition, now committed to raising awareness about hypertension and other cardiac conditions, particularly in communities of color.
You don't really find the purpose or the meaning, of your life. You give it a meaning.
One could say that Buba Jammeh has the heart of a giant. When it comes to his capacity for compassion, it is his gift. When it comes to his health, it was his hurdle.
That was in 2012, and I was in South Africa at the time. I was running a boot camp, and then one day, I thought I had a cold or a flu. I still had this sharp pain in my chest, and that never went away.
A symptom that eventually sent the otherwise healthy 25-year-old to the hospital.
They did a lot of tests, including an X-ray, and then that's when they noticed my heart was larger than normal.
Jammeh, who grew up in Mali and Senegal, says it was eventually diagnosed as a genetic form of dilated cardiomyopathy.
At birth, my heart muscle was never fully formed. So over time, it was spongy, so over time it got bigger and bigger.
Though largely unnoticed, symptoms started when he was fairly young.
When I was a teenager, I would have pain or be lightheaded and dizzy. The symptoms often manifest at teenage years.
In 2015, now living in the United States with twin boys on the way, the then 30-year-old's condition deteriorated. Jammeh was in heart failure, being kept alive with an LVAD pump. While most patients in need of a heart will wait about a year, Jammeh's size would mean his wait would likely be much longer. His patience would be steady. His young sons...
Every time I said I go to the hospital, it's like, oh, did I get you a heart?
Jammeh, an engineer by profession, says coupled with his own need to update an eager family on his health journey and to help others focus on health, he created an online community.
I was tired of sending a lot of emails to people telling them what's going on, so I started blogging. Then I got called for a few public speaking. Eventually I was like, yeah, okay, I want to do something with this.
That want soon turned into a podcast, a place to spread awareness, to perhaps save someone else from developing preventable heart disease or help navigate the chronic condition.
Obviously, heart failure is, one issue, but then there's a lot that happens before you get to that stage. And in my case, could have been avoided or not, better managed. That's, that has passed already. But for many others, they could be put in a better position.
His nonprofit, the Heart of a Giant Foundation, was founded in 2018 to call attention to hypertension and cardiac conditions with a focus on underserved communities.
Some of the chronic illnesses came down to, the amount of wealth we have or where you are. But it doesn't really have to be that expensive.
He holds monthly clinics where he goes beyond the diet and exercise advice. He teaches people how to test their blood pressure, gives them a unit to take home, and helps them track their numbers, something that has been shown to produce better outcomes. And in October of 2022, after 5.5 years waiting on a heart, Jammeh got the call from his doctor.
As soon as I heard his voice, I knew it was a heart.
Few more excited than that insistent son, and perhaps more concerned.
I also coach the soccer team. This was on a Friday, so his next worry was like, who's gonna coach us on Sunday?
Soccer is back, and so is the banter.
Who's better on the soccer field, you or Dad?
Me.
Say it without smiling.
My favorite one is this one.
The gratitude of this family, a new heart for a man full of heart. Jammeh says he often thinks about his donor, their family, whose gift of life surely didn't come without heartache. He hopes one day to meet them.
Probably just explain to them what I've been doing with the New Heart and how much we are grateful for that.
But for now, he says a New Heart has further renewed his commitment to helping others through their own heart journeys.
When a moment like this, it all comes together. So we're definitely very grateful for that.
And our thanks to Chronicles' Nicole Estefan for sharing this story. In October, Abuba Jame celebrated the 1-year anniversary of his heart transplant, and he continues to express deep gratitude and appreciation for the gift of this second chance. The Heart of a Giant Foundation works with community partners across Boston, Brockton, and Brookline, and provides educational programs for hundreds of patients and caregivers. Jame reports that in the last year, they have continuously monitored 24 individuals as part of the Healthy Hearts program. And we're going to link to the organization on our website on WCVB.com/Cityline.